back to Pop Tabs, keeping tabs on all your pop culture news. My name is Matthew Yapp, and joining me today is...
Baylie Clevinger.
And...
Christian Dixie.
We're back, guys. It was a nice summer hiatus, but it's even nicer being back. Baylie, what do you do at Byte?
What do I do at Byte? I am the senior features editor, so everything features comes to me and I edit it, and it's a fun time.
We love it. And Christian, you're new. What are you doing at Byte?
I am a features writer for Byte.
We love features. You know what we don't love? Juul Pods, at least not right now. The Trump administration recently announced that they are planning to ban the sale of flavored e-cigarettes. This would not stop the sale of all e-cigarettes, that is specifically for the flavored pods. And the reasoning behind this is they are saying that it is more directed towards teenagers, and we are currently at coming off of sixth death in a mysterious lung-related, or Juul Pod lung disease. And they are saying that it is supposedly related to vaping. Over 600 cases of people have gotten sick from it, and so there's a pretty big push for the FCA to do something about Juul Pods. Rather a banner is working or not, we don't know, but what are your initial thoughts on it?
I mean, I've got some mixed feelings about it because, like, Juuls are stupid. Like, they really are. But, like, at the same time, like, the same thing happens from, like, cigarettes, and we, like, don't ban those just because people, like, make money off of them. Mm-hmm. So, like, I mean, I think that sure, we should like make sure that teens aren't being harmed and stuff. That's really important. Yeah. But it's like, why aren't we banning other stuff that's also harming like everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like really like Juul Pods. Why are you banning them? Those are not gonna help with the problem. That's only gonna escalate even more and gonna make more people do it. And people are worried because 6 people died from vaping. You know, it's like alcohol and all those drug deaths, those are like normalized, and where a lot of people die, like thousands of people die each year from that, and it's normalized. But when it comes to vaping and only 6 people have died, people are making such a big deal out of that.
Yeah. See, I think there's actually some merit to vaping. I know a lot of people do use it to try and wean themselves off of actual cigarettes, and a lot of times they do have lower nicotine percentages, and so that can be helpful. But I guess my kind of take on this is I don't understand entirely. Christian, you said it yourself, like, there's a lot of other things killing a lot more people.
Yeah.
Like, alcohol-related deaths yearly is miles ahead of the 6 people that have died from this. But at the same time, I don't want to make kind of like a whataboutism, because, 6 people dying is an issue, and, drug-related issues should not be ignored just because there's something else worse. But at the same time, I don't know what it's going to do. And so, like, kind of my next point is, do you think people will stop vaping because of the fact that they can't buy the flavored pods, or are they just going to switch over to regular e-cigarettes?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to stop vaping, especially because nicotine is like so addictive. It's like if you just like take that away, they're like, I'm just going to find something else to do then. Like that's fine. So I mean, I don't really think it's going to stop anything. I think we should be doing things to like keep people, especially young people who are doing this, from dying, because that's bad. Dying is bad. But like
I don't advocate for it personally.
Yeah, I don't either. Not typically. But like, I don't know. At the same time, just like ripping it out of their hands, and being like, no more Juul for you. It's like,
I mean, yeah, if I think a very effective way to get someone to stop vaping is to
take the Juul out of their hands.
That'll get them.
I'm going to start doing that around campus, just taking the Juuls out of people's hands.
Christian, do you think that this is going to lead to a decline in e-cigarette use, or do you think it's just going to switch them over to regular?
Probably switch them over to regular. I don't know. It's just basically, I mean, if you take Juuls away, they're gonna find there's other alternatives that are probably just as or even more dangerous than vaping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, some of the other ones smell bad.
Like, isn't that the real problem?
Not that juuling is good because it smells good, but like the other ones are bad, and then they also smell bad. So that's just not. This is just not a good time.
At least the one can be bad and smell like cotton candy.
That's true.
So I have this issue where I was reading a study where prescription medicine is very addictive. A lot of people get hooked on opioids and things like that. And what tends to happen is when they are no longer able to get the prescription pills, a lot of them we see a huge jump over to harder drugs, rather that be heroin or just something else to self-medicate, or they're buying prescription drugs off somebody else in a less regulated way. And that's where we see most of the overdoses from prescription pills, or obviously heroin's going to kill a lot of people. And so I think what we see there is a pretty correlated to what we would see, in my opinion, with e-cigarettes, where if you are banning the flavored ones, people still have that need for nicotine, and so they're either going to go to cigarettes or e-cigarettes.
Yeah.
I know personally that, like, the people I know who have tried to stop smoking by using a vape pen, they're still using their vape pen, and if they couldn't get that anymore, they would probably go back to cigarettes. And so I don't think that it's really going to fix the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, especially like you made the point about people switching from cigarettes to vaping. Like this initially, like I remember when vaping became like a big thing, it was initially like an alternative to cigarettes, and that's still how they like market it, is like this is an alternative to cigarettes.
It was never supposed to be like this cool thing that it's kind of become.
Yeah, now it's hip with the kids, so everybody has a Juul, but like at first vaping was supposed to be like an alternative to smoking to eventually get you to stop smoking.
Right.
But all it's really done is you know, fed into the nicotine industry.
Yes.
So
any thoughts on that?
Honestly, no.
That's fine.
Like, no comment.
No, so something that I do think this may alleviate, and that is kind of the main goal, is it's not necessarily, the Trump administration is not trying to do this to outright stop smoking or nicotine problems. They are trying to prevent the issue we're facing with teenagers getting a lot more into vaping. I have read up on a few statistics, and according to CNN, 38% of teens have tried vaping at this point, and we are seeing really high increases of just teenagers trying it because it is cool now. I mean, you see the way that Juul says they're not advocating to kids, but you see Instagram ads and social influencers on YouTube vaping and doing all these things. The models they pick are clearly not appealing to the older generations. So I do think that's kind of noted, and I do think usually when you see like teenagers vaping, whether they be high school students or people our age who are like college age, you don't typically see them vaping just a regular e-cigarette. They are usually going for like mango or radical raspberry or something.
Mint.
Mint.
I know people got opinions on those mint Juul Pods. I know they're popular.
They smell bad.
Like, I mean, exactly. It's like Juul smell bad too, y'all. I take back what I said. Juul smell bad too.
Yeah. But so do you think that this will at the very least alleviate an issue with teenagers vaping?
I mean, I don't, like I said before, maybe like it might get them to like not even try it in the first place if they like don't have like the funky fun flavors.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's people who have like already been juuling, already been vaping, whatever, like they're already addicted to the nicotine. So it's like they're still just gonna sell like the non-flavor, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it will alleviate to some degree, but it won't get rid of the epidemic completely.
Yeah.
I look at it almost as like they're cutting off like a diseased arm kind of situation. They're like, well, a bunch of the teenagers are sick now. Screw those guys. Let's just make sure no one else gets sick. Because I agree with you.
It's too late for you guys.
You guys are done.
It's too late for y'all. But everybody else, like, we're going to save them now.
We got them. No, because I agree with you. I think less people will start trying it now, but I don't think it's going to help the teenagers that we're already worried about.
No, it's not going to help the people who have already like smoked them. Like, why did we let them market these to teenagers in the first place with like their raspberry flavors and their mint flavors? And
I literally found a flavor being sold for Juul Pods that was called Radical Raspberry, and they were like, it's not marketed towards kids. Who is that marketed towards?
All of the teens are trying to be rad with their raspberries.
I want to be radical.
Yes.
But yeah, so I do think that it will kind of actually alleviate sort of the issue. Now, all of that being said, do you think this is the government's business? Because I've seen quite a bit about saying that the Trump administration is completely overstepping their bounds, and if somebody wants to smoke a ton of Juul Pods and get this new mysterious lung disease, which I'm uncomfortable that's what we're calling it, that's very vague, but if they want to get this new mysterious lung disease, that is their business.
Well, first of all, I don't know why we're worried about the administration overstepping for this, because that's not the first time, but that's not the point. But anyways.
She's correct though.
I mean, do we not to like some extent expect the government to like have like standards for health, and like, I mean, the government talks about healthcare and all of that stuff, and this is a healthcare issue.
It is.
Because people are getting sick. So, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't like step in and try to do something, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, why do you guys think they're overstepping now when they've done it before?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel, they're definitely overstepping it. I mean, there's much bigger issues to deal with.
Bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, exactly.
I see your point for sure.
Yeah.
No, I think that I always fall back on the seatbelt laws because, like, a lot of people are arguing, like, you're allowed to drink. I mean, we said it ourselves, like, people can smoke cigarettes anyways. Why is this the issue? But I find it harmful to just do, like, a whataboutism and just be like, oh, well, if I can do this, why can't I do that? That's not the government's business. But the government is meant to kind of facilitate people's health and protect the common good. Whether they do that or not is up for debate right now. But the point is they're supposed to. And so, sure, maybe they should ban alcohol. That's another debate. We could have that all day long. But what we're talking about right now is Juul Pods, and at the very least we can say that it is having negative health effects. And like back on the seatbelt law thing, for a lot of people were like, there's no business in the government. If I don't want to wear my seatbelt and like get thrown out of the car, that's my business. But the government did that. They started regulating that, and like car-related accidents or death-related accidents just dropped. I mean, I think that the government has a social responsibility, and so to say, just because they don't do it here means they can't do it here. I don't get the point of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree.
So, are there any closing thoughts on the Juul Pod epidemic in this country?
Closing thoughts. Stop juuling. Just stop it. Just stop it. Cut it out.
Don't jewel.
Especially if you're not even 18, cut it out. Don't have your cool friend buy it for you. Quit it. You'll be better off. It's costing you money.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt your health. Just cut it out.
And even if you're 18 and like especially if you're in college, juuling, like you need to stop.
Just cut it out, y'all.
I will say, I'm a bartender. Stop juuling in my bar. We have a no smoking sign that includes Juuls. Just saying. And then also, if you are juuling to try to stop smoking, I very much respect that and hope that works well for you. That being said, you know what else I respect? KFC right now. KFC is going for it.
Going in on some stuff.
KFC.
So, if you don't know, KFC has released a new game called I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator. Yeah. What are our thoughts on this?
I've got a lot of thoughts, especially if you look at, like, I don't know who all has seen the animation for Colonel Sanders, but they're definitely trying to make him like Hunky Colonel Sanders. Not just regular Colonel Sanders from the past, like that we've seen in these commercials. This is like Hunky Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, he's young
like,
and dreamy.
Yes, exactly. And like, it makes me uncomfortable. I really don't like it.
I'm not digging this at all. I mean, a dating game? Hello? Like, I don't know. What is this? Like Tinder 2.0?
Tinder, but just for Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
If I can't find love on Tinder, I will find it with Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders would never leave me.
Honestly.
Just make Colonel Sanders a dating advocate.
No, so I'm gonna be real. I am 1,000% in love with this idea. It is the best thing anyone's ever done. Like, game of the year. If you don't know, this dating sim is a game where you are a culinary student and you are in culinary school and one of your fellow students is Colonel Sanders and you play the game trying to woo him and fall in love. It contains secret recipes. It contains cute picnic dates with the Colonel. And on top of that, you have a dog professor, which I think is cute.
Oh, we stand dog professor.
We do.
I was unaware of that. We stand dog
There's
professor.
A dog professor
in this house. I mean, like weird, hunky anime Colonel Sanders aside, we stand dog professor.
No, and that's why I'm kind of okay with it. If you look at the trailer, you have like a dog that is teaching your class, and like it's a very over-the-top game, and so I'm kind of okay with the fact that they're doing it because like clearly none of this is being taken seriously. So like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, and like honestly, it's a pretty good marketing technique because it's weird.
Yeah.
Like we love weird stuff. Like anything that's weird, it like blows up. Do you guys remember when Wendy's had a mixtape?
Yeah.
This is like the same kind of
It
thing.
wasn't bad either.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I listened to it.
I
Wendy's
did.
has bars, and that's the problem.
They went.
They did. They went in with this mixtape, and that's the issue. But I mean, good for them. They know how to like market to people. Does Hunky Colonel Sanders make me uncomfortable? Yes. Is it good marketing? Also yes.
Good marketing, and I think that'll help them in the long run. Yeah, definitely.
Like relating to the younger people.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, this is what anyone would call shock advertising. And I mean, companies have done it in the past because I think it's getting harder and harder to really have like an impactful message.
Yeah.
And so I think this kind of thing is becoming more relevant. So are you okay with shock advertising, or would you rather just see advertising that's like, hey, here's our product?
Well, I mean, like I said before, like they're definitely trying to appeal to young people. Like, so, I mean, I don't know. I find it funny, and I really like to have like advertisement that has humor in it, because I don't want to see an advertisement where they're just like, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. But at the same time, if I see Hunky like Colonel Sanders come up on my timeline, I'm like, oh, that's really funny. If I ate meat, I would go to KFC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I just think that we're just seeing advertising like take a shift, you know, and they're like appealing to younger people, and I just think it's funny. It's entertaining, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely okay with it as well. It's more I see it from a creative aspect, to try to get people to buy the product. I mean, I remember seeing an advertisement when the PlayStation 3 first came out in 2006. They had a baby, like this really weird baby thing.
As you do.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh wow, like
Look at that.
yeah. I was like, wow, I really want to get a PlayStation 3.
Because I want a baby.
Yeah.
What does every child want when they want a PS3? Also a
child.
baby.
A child.
Also a child. Now with PS3, you get a toddler.
No, so I am back and forth on so I've taken some marketing classes here at Ball State. By no means does that mean I'm an expert, but it means that like I understand what they're going for, and the reason I'm iffy on it is like I don't think it does great for the company. Because yes, we're here talking about KFC, but I don't think anyone is particularly like, ooh, I gotta try that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair.
I feel like it's more of a promotion of the brand than the product, and so I'm not sure how much good it's actually doing. Do you think that this is going to increase their sales or their stock or do any actual good for the company?
I mean, I guess, like, when you put it that way, you're right. Because, like, I mean, I know I said if I ate meat, I would go to KFC, but that was for the most part a joke. But, like, I mean, it definitely does build their brand. Like, we're watching them build their brand and, like, rebranding to, like, cater to a specific demographic.
Yeah.
So, like, as far as actual sales, I don't know if they have like in-game purchases or whatever, so I guess they could make money off of that.
No, it is a completely free game.
Free?
Free to
Okay.
play,
Well,
free to play through.
I mean-
Microtransactions.
Like, I guess honestly that's kind of hard to say, because
Yeah.
it definitely builds their brand differently. But I mean, at the same time, like, you know, you're not going to walk into a KFC and see like dreamy Colonel Sanders. So
And I'm so disappointed.
yeah,
by that.
maybe they would go to KFC and then be disappointed that he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Brand wise, sure. Like actual sales wise, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, sales wise, like no, but I don't know. I mean, the Hunky Colonel Sanders, like she said, like I feel like that's damn near false advertising. Like, honestly.
Yeah, you're not getting that in store.
Yeah.
No.
True.
In the weirdest way, I look at this as almost an extension of, you know, the whole like sex sells things, you know, like put your like sexy model girl eating like a Whopper and like you got
Like a Hardee's commercial.
yeah, you got a product suddenly.
We've all seen them. They're like eating the cheeseburger on
Yeah, it's
on like the
gross.
car,
Slow
and I'm
motion.
like,
Yeah.
what is? Stop that.
And again, I'm with you, Bailey. I don't eat meat, so maybe like that's why it's not working for me.
Yeah.
But this is almost like that, where maybe for people who like, in a weird way, like, oh, Hunky Colonel Sanders, like it'll work for them. Or if you like a joke, maybe it'll work for you. But KFC has done some things like this in the past. They did a KFC like drone box, where your chicken box, they did it for a limited time in India. You could take apart your chicken box and then it would work as a drone, which cool. They had KFC nail polish that was flavored edible nail polish that they did for a limited time here in America. It was a choice, and if you look at both of those, their sales didn't really go up.
Yeah.
More of what it was is they were just arguing for like, hey, this is cool, aren't we like a wacky brand? And I don't know what that does for the company. So I kind of look at it as useless, especially because games aren't cheap to make. Like they had to pay developers for this. They had to like go through a long process to get writers. And so I look at it like a misstep. That being said, do you think that the people who they're targeting to, the kids, do you think at the very least them having it in their conversation, maybe KFC will at least become more of a like household name again, or do you think it was already there so this was useless?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like this kind of plays into the idea of like marketing things to kids and then they bring it up to their parents.
Right.
You know, like it's like show them something pretty on the TV that's brightly colored. They're going to tell their parents they want it when they're in the store.
For sure.
So like maybe they're going to see Hunky Colonel Sanders and then they're going to be rolling down the street and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, Mom, like we have to go see Colonel Sanders. Like,
Mom, I played Finger Looking Good.
Yeah, exactly. Mom, I got that nail polish from KFC that, by the way, you can lick off, which like defeats the purpose of nail polish, so I don't get that. But like, I mean, I don't know if it will make it a household name again, but they're definitely at least like getting their name like into people's heads and into people's like conversations.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. I feel like it won't turn into a household name. I mean, it was for a long time up until, they started experimenting with all this wacky stuff. And I feel like they lost their direction on where to really go, and they're just scrambling to find something.
Yeah.
KFC is like a 13-year-old that just discovered My Chemical Romance, and they're trying so hard. They're trying so hard. They're like, where am I going? KFC, we feel you.
The answer for me was being a goth, so maybe that would work for KFC.
KFC is about to go through an emo phase. I support KFC in their emo phase.
Fully will eat meat again if they go through an emo phase.
That's fair.
But
retweet.
Not to like give them any more praise than they need, but McDonald's, you don't really see a lot of commercials for McDonald's, and when you do, it's for their products. And that's because once you're a household name, you don't have to like make these desperate attempts to get people to know your company. I think people know KFC enough to where they can stop pushing like, hey, know our brand, like our brand. They can just at this point be like, we have this new product.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they're playing the wrong game here.
Yeah, I agree.
But that being said, you know who else plays games and is wrong? It's Pewdiepie. Yeah. He's back again. I have had to talk about you so much on this show, sir. But you keep coming back. So, Felix Kjellberg, aka Pewdiepie, recently rescinded a pledge to donate $50,000 to the Anti-Defamation League, which, if you don't know, they are a charity whose main goal is to kind of stop anti-Semitism and just discrimination in this country. And so he had pledged to donate $50,000 to them after he caught some criticism for paying people on the website Fiverr. He paid them $5 to hold up anti-Semitic signs for a video that he was like, haha, isn't that funny? And then he also, before that, caught criticism in 2017 for he used the N-word in one of his video game streams when he was raging, which he said it just slipped out. So he's gotten quite a bit of flack for anti-Semitic and racist language and kind of behaviors. And he's also, I would say, is rather infamous at this point for having quite a large portion of his fan base use a lot of anti-Semitic and racist language, and they make a lot of Nazi jokes is essentially what it's come to. And they say that, oh, we don't really believe this stuff, but since people call him a Nazi, we're kind of taking up that mantle. Either way, it's not cultivating a great culture. But because of that, when he said he was going to pledge $50,000 to this charity, his fans were quite upset and said that he was just sucking up to people he didn't have to, and that he had no spine, and that it was ridiculous. They made a lot of Jew jokes. And so he decided just to, rather than deal with the fan backlash of donating to charity, he decided to rescind his $50,000 pledge. What is your initial thoughts on that?
I have lots of opinions.
Let's hear them.
So, like, first of all, like, the purpose of the donation was to, like, make up for, the way he had been.
Yes.
Because, like you said, he'd been infamous for saying these really terrible, like, bigoted things.
Yeah.
So he's, like, I feel like even if he didn't mean it, like, he's trying to take, like, I don't know how genuine it was, but like taking a step in the direction to like help the people that he has like, hurt. And then like, I don't know, I don't see it as spineless to give the donation. I see it as spineless to then rescind it because people are angry about it. Because that like shows that you really did not want to make any reparations for like what you said stood for,
Yeah, that definitely gives him a bad look on him. It's honestly, I feel like this is crazy. The fact that he rescinded it because he was facing backlash. I mean, they can't be easily swayed by what other people think.
Yeah. I'm blown away that he caught as much backlash as he did for donating to charity.
Yeah.
Like, he was donating to a very good cause, and people were like, how could you? You betrayed us, which is just bizarre to me. But to give him the benefit of the doubt, he does argue that, like, the reason he was doing it in the first place is because people were upset. So it makes sense that he would reverse it because people are upset, because he just wants to make everyone happy. And my kind of thoughts on that is why I can understand where he's coming from with that. I think you shouldn't be trying to make people happy who are angry that you are trying to make up for racist things you said. Because either you're sorry for the racist things you said or you're not. And so I guess take your pick on that, because if people are like, it's justified to be angry for being racist, I don't know how justified it is to be angry about trying to make up for that.
Yeah, I mean, point blank, like, if you're angry at someone for trying to make up for racism, like, what's your issue with the racism, Just because, like, nobody forced him to say anything racist. Like, this is something, like, YouTube is a free platform. He downloaded it. He uploaded his videos. Like, he did his thing, he made his bed, and he, like, if you really want to fix it, like, stand with what you're trying to do.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I just hate that he listened to the people that were angry and just rescinded the donation. It's crazy.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
I think ultimately it probably was greedy too, because like if his viewers, the people who are giving him money, are angry at this, he's like, oh, well, now I'm going to lose $50,000 plus like money from my viewers. So ultimately, I don't think he was thinking about anyone else.
No, I would say it's worth noting he is one of the like highest paid YouTubers because of how massive his fan base is. But that being said, he has for quite some time not had great experience with trying to get sponsorships from YouTube because he's no longer considered advertiser friendly for things like this. And so I do think there's probably a decent portion in his mind where he's like, well, if I can't get ads from YouTube, I'm losing $50,000 and now my fans are going to be angry. It may just be a financial stance for him with if that's what he's coming from. That is like completely his prerogative. But he did make the statement that his mistake was that not being racist, but his mistake was that he was donating to a charity he was not familiar with rather than a charity he's passionate about. I think there's a lot to unpack with that statement. What are your initial thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, I think that, like I said before, that shows that he was just trying to like fix his image. This was all about him from the start. Like, especially if you're not going to look into what you're donating to, it's not even like he like accidentally donated to like another like racist foundation or something. He donated to something that like, first of all, criticized him in the past. So like, it was just clearly about him. Like, especially if he didn't look into it, like.
I did some research. I Googled. I was like, pro-Jewish charity, and one of the first ones that comes up is ADL, and so I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say what happened is he Googled the same thing and was like, okay, I'll donate to that one. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I feel like he only donated to get him to shut up, Like, I'll give you $50,000 if you shut up. And like he tried to fix his image, and you can't please everybody.
You really can't.
You can't.
Something that Baylie, you already pointed out, but is again a part of it for him, is he was unaware, but the ADL has criticized him in the past for his anti-Semitic acts, and he wasn't exactly aware of that, and so he said when it was brought to light for him, that kind of changed his decision, and that's what a lot of people were saying, is like his fans were like, they wanted you gone 6 months ago, and now you're giving them $50,000. You're a coward. But do you think that that is a valid argument for not giving somebody money is if they are critics of you?
Personally, honestly, I don't think so, especially in this situation, because like, I mean, there's no, like, I guess if it was someone who criticized you for like no reason, but they were criticizing him for a reason. Like they were criticizing him for being racist.
They were criticizing him for the reason that he was supposedly apologizing
Yes. So I'm like, if you're gonna try to like apologize for this and you know, they had criticized you like in the past and you're trying to fix that, I would think you would take that and say like, oh, okay, like that makes sense because I'm trying to make reparations for what they already pointed out.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I feel like him trying to donate money to fix everything in his image, I feel like that was a really bad idea. I feel like he would have been just better off just apologizing, making a public apology to that organization and just move the fuck on.
Yeah. Now, do we think this is going to affect Felix, or do you think that since this is exactly what his fans wanted, he'll be fine?
I mean, I think he'll be fine. Like, we've seen this before, like just a couple months ago with James Charles. He lost like millions and millions of followers in a couple days, and then within like a couple weeks, he was fine again. And I'm pretty sure he's even like above the follower count he was at before. So I think that like, you know, when people don't try really hard to fix what they've done and they just keep doing the same thing, they just keep feeding the same ideas into the minds of the people who have been supporting them, like they're going to be fine because they just go back to their old ways, and because that's what they know. And that's what they know will make them money, and that's what they know will get them views, and that's what they know will get them attention and followers.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll be fine. I mean, I looked at his YouTube count a few hours ago. He's at 101 million.
Yeah, he has, besides T-Series now, he's the second top tier.
Yeah.
I look at this as almost like a net neutral like kind of experience for him because, like we said, he has done a lot of the stuff in the past. So I think if you were upset with Pewdiepie for what could be perceived as racist actions, I think you probably aren't subscribed to him anyways. If it's not something that bothers you, then you're gonna stick around. And so I don't think like him doing this is going to change the people who are already there's mind at all. I do think from like honestly a business perspective, I think it made sense for him because like we said, his fans wanted it and YouTube's not paying him. So I guess just do what the fans want if you're not actually sorry about what you did. So I think he'll be exactly where he was.
Yeah, does it make him a good person? No. But will he be financially fine? Yes. He will still be a millionaire. He'll still be one of the top subscribed people on YouTube.
And he'll still be married to a lovely woman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
But closing thoughts on this or anything else we talked about today, gang?
Juuls are bad. KFC's weird. PewDiePie needs to get it together.
Oh yeah. Juul's bad, and KFC, I don't know what the they're on, but they need to get themselves together as well. And PewDiePie, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. No surprises.
I'm not really surprised by PewDiePie either, and I mean, I've have about the same opinion of him that I've always had of him. KFC, I'm super surprised by, and have a much different opinion of them than I thought I would. And Juul Pods, I'm also not super surprised, but I have the same opinion of them, which is if it helps you stop smoking, I support you, and I hope it works well. And that's all for us today on Pop Tabs. Joining me today was
Baylie Clevinger.
and
Christian Dixie.
I'm your host, Matthew Yapp. Thank you so much for watching.